It's Duncan back from Metal Epidemic for another review.
Yeah.
And for this review, Duncan's on the booze, obviously.
I'm on the booze cruise, ladies and gents. The sound of the booze cruise coming to get you.
We are checking out the new EP from Swedish hardcore quartet Throne.
Is this a, just to keep in the theme of all our reviews tonight, is this a debut?
Yes, it is.
Oh, nice.
This is the debut from Sweden's Throne.
So much new music from so many new bands.
A wee 5-track EP, clocking in at just about 10 minutes.
Yep. I'll be honest, I did well up when I read that. It's like, so yes, we'll review your EP. Yes, I will.
Yes, 10 minutes. Yep, you could listen to this on your lunch break about 5 times.
This review, by the time we get through the nonsense that we've got to record at the start of this, will be longer than the EP.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. I guarantee that. Not a single track on this goes above 3 minutes. So,
yep. And nor do they, Dave.
No,
they don't need to.
No, they don't. This very much feels like a kind of a little taster, a little teaser. You know, just to give you a bit of a flavour of what Throne are all about.
Do you think they're throwing us a bone here?
Maybe, Duncan, maybe. When I was listening to it, I was thinking to myself, you know, this production sounds. There's something kind of familiar about this production. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it. Just, you know, it's something in the back of my mind. But back of my mind, I'm thinking this sounds strangely familiar. So
sounds Danish.
Well, it sounds. Well, I started to read the press. I thought I'll read the press. Let's have a look at the press.
Never make assumptions because then
yes,
you become
exactly.
Duncan.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought these guys were American. There was my problem straight away.
No.
This is why you should always read the press.
Swedish.
Swedish, yeah.
The
Swedish American.
Reading the press release, and I noticed. All right, so we've got a vocalist is from a band called Grieved, or ex-vocalist of a band called Grieved. He's also a renowned tattooist. His name is Marcus Lundqvist. He's on vocals. Oh,
I know Marcus Lundqvist's work.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Interesting.
I think I've actually been tattooed in a parlour that he tattooed in. So.
Oh, interesting.
Well, that's a story for a different time. Because it involves me talking about my tit. So let's not do that.
I'd like to talk about that. Let's talk about that. So we've got Marcus on vocals. We've got Johan and Andreas on guitars, and the drummer, who is also the producer of this EP, is Mr. Buster Odholm from Humanity's Last Breath.
Swedish then, not Danish.
Bulgar, yes. Swedish.
I was one country away.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where my head was going, and it's, you know, it's not exactly the same as his usual productions. There's little characteristics that are a bit kind of, you know, Buster Odholm. The guitar tone has a bit of that kind of bite to it.
Bit of a
chunk. But it's definitely not as like kind of clinical as some of the stuff he's done for like Humanity's Last Breath or Viljara. This feels a bit more, and it's not even rough around the edges. It's still got a polish to it. But I think because it's hardcore, there's there's
can't fuck
less,
around with it too much.
Yeah, there's not as much like time alignment, and it's, you know, it has a little bit more flexibility to it. Musically though, this is pretty ferocious. This is like 10 minutes of just like put your foot on the gas pedal and just kind of go for it.
It's 10 minutes of being stomped in the nuts.
Yeah,
like just
much.
repeatedly, like bang, 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 bang. You know,
yeah,
like,
there's no like clean interludes or, you know, little melodic breaks. This is just like hard hitting riffs on top of hard hitting riffs. Lots of little quick tempo shifts and breakdowns. Utterly scorching vocals are just.
Oh, the vocals are just they're just like they're painful to listen to, but in the best possible way.
Yeah. Very kind of razor sharp sounding, very well executed. And I love the way they kind of like transition into a breakdown. It's very seamless. You know, they do that kind of like the kind of slow switch into the breakdown, like right at the end of Grey Out. They do this really cool kind of maneuver. Just goes from, you know, the tempo just kind of takes a dip right at the breakdown, which was really cool. And the EP just keeps you kind of head banging along for 10 minutes. The grooves are infectious. It constantly drives forward. There's usually some kind of like payoff moment in each track that will give you like Forrest Whitaker eye. You know, it's just like you're like, oh fuck, Jesus Christ. Like, so it's got plenty of that. You know, there's plenty of those moments where you're like, yes, that's what I wanted. I think the EP is probably the perfect length for this. I think like if they went full length, I'd like to hear a bit more kind of variation and you know,
they'd have to.
A little bit kind of like a little bit more variation in the vocals, and you know, they could even like possibly add in a couple of guest vocals. Because there are a couple of moments in this I was like, like a wee riff, wee bit here and there. I thought that's a wee bit Ghost Iris, just, you know, in certain moments, but without the vocal melodies, obviously, because those guys have got the kind of cleans and stuff. But I could totally imagine hearing some kind of melody or tonal scream on this as well, if they chose to kind of go down that route. And the pace of this, as I said, it's relentless and it's fairly similar throughout. It sits fairly kind of mid-paced hardcore groove for pretty much the whole EP. Aside from the kind of the little short breakdowns every now and again. So, you know, maybe adding in something a bit more either side of that, you know, something a bit more up tempo or a bit slower would really work in kind of breaking up the kind of familiarity of the speed of the EP. But for the most part, like, I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's punchy as hell. They sound like they have a good idea of, you know, what they want to do already. I think the fact, you know, it sounds as slick as this on their first release is a pretty good sign that they'll just kind of get better on each release. And obviously the guys are all from kind of good stock and stuff. So I'm looking forward to hearing what these guys do next. What about yourself? What do you think?
There's not a lot you can really complain about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a particularly long release.
No.
And they maximise the time that they have. So
for sure.
they're what's interesting, like a hardcore, very much like any kind of minimalist approach to kind of songwriting just in general, doesn't really give you or afford you much space to hide anything. Like, you can't really hide a kind of basic bitch riff. On a hardcore song, they usually stand out. Same with the drums, same with the vocals and all the rest. And the beauty of the length of this and the relentless nature of it is that it kind of feels like they've just picked, you know, the best riffs they can, that fit the songs the way they do. And when there isn't an idea to go beyond 2 minutes and 12 seconds, that's when the song finishes. And that's kind of how hardcore should be. And they've kind of distilled it, and it is on the heavier side of that. I just want to stress that as hardcore music go, this is probably more on the extremity of it, but it delivers everything you want. Production's fucking killer. And the more I thought about it, because like the danger with I know why you don't like reviewing EPs, because like you, on some level, you kind of feel like you're getting cheated a little bit. Also, you don't feel like you're getting the full experience of a band on an EP. That being said, I kind of feel like I know what their album's going to sound like, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of alright with that as well. I think as a way to kind of stretch out the hardcore muscles for Buster, who clearly has that as an influence.
He's a talented bastard, isn't he?
I think he really
fucking
is.
Drummer,
I think
guitarist, producer. Like,
I don't know how he has the time.
No.
Like, is the clear thing, unless he actually physically lives in his studio, which he might do. I don't know. But like listening to just the distilled ferocity of it. And then, like, on subsequent, like, the first listen is almost a blink and you miss it listen. Is that it's you don't know what to expect yet, play, and then it's finished. And then I went back over it, and I was desperately trying to pick out stuff that I didn't like or didn't think would work. Like trying to be really nitpicky of it, and I couldn't really find, like, once again, the biggest criticism that you could hand to Throne is they're not necessarily doing something you haven't heard done before. But I also know for a fact that hardcore isn't the most dexterous music in the world to write. So as a result, there's a lot of bands that should be a lot better than they are, but they coast by doing this genre because they feel it's an easy way out. And Throne have not done that for a second on this release. Everything they've done feels like it's in the best interest of the song, and they've kind of crafted the best version of those songs here. And then you get those vocals on top, and the vocals are fucking ferocious, and it's a great listen. This is the epitome of the palate cleanser listen. This is a hardcore sorbet that you have in between your main meals. It just cleans the palate off. It's very, very quick to listen to. It's done, and when it's done, you know what? If you want to go back in for a second scoop, you can. Like, you're not going to
that analogy, are you?
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I realised how hungry I was for sorbet, and now I'm damning myself because we have none in the house. Not that we buy much sorbet, but but it's kind of it is, to me, this is the, if I was listening to interestingly enough, now that I think about it, was a particular album that we have been talking about tonight, which was fucking fairly full on, and I couldn't listen to a second time right afterwards. This is a great transition listen.
Yeah,
you shove this on, just sets you up, and you can put on anything after this, heavier or lighter, and it kind of sets you up and gears you up for it. I think it's great. If I'm honest, once again, plays into your, I think you've coined this one the year of hardcore already. This kind of coins into that. There's a lot of people that are kind of sticking their flags in hardcore just now from unexpected sources that we've been finding out recently. And this is another example of it. It might be going through a mini renaissance at the moment, and Throne are a great example of why hardcore music kind of needs that at the moment. I kind of feel like we've had that Americanized, kind of heavier, hate breed version of hardcore for a while now, and we've kind of lost the roots of it, and bands like Throne remind you what the roots are and why they're important and fun to listen to. So
for sure. So ratings for Extended Pain. Extended Pain, I've just clocked that there now. Extended Pain EP.
Yep, you get it.
Extended Pain.
There you go. I got that first time, Dave. See, I don't read the press statements, Dave. I'm left with my thoughts.
Yeah, very clever.
The irony of Extended Pain is it's apparently 12 minutes long.
Shorter on this review, though, which we're going to get to the end of. Ratings for this new one from Throne. Not a lot to dislike, to be honest. It kind of does what you'd hope it would do. Very short, to the point, but it kicks you in the stones for the whole 10 minutes. I'd probably go 4 out of 5 on this one. Quite enjoyed it. I'd like to hear what they would do on a full length, what they could kind of come up with variation wise, just to kind of keep you engaged for a kind of whole album's worth. But excited to hear where these guys go next. Another fantastic job in the production from Buster as well. What are you thinking?
I'm the same as you. It's a 4. There's nothing really to dislike here. There's plenty of room for more, which is what I'm excited to hear. And I'm curious to hear when Buster gets time to do more of this, because we know what he's like, and I'm sure there's plenty more Unique Breeder Records albums out there to review between now and tomorrow. It's a 4-star album. I like totally. If anything we've said is remotely interesting you, or you're a fan of like fairly ferocious hardcore music, these guys bring it in a way which makes you smile.
Yeah, for sure. So Extended Pain by Throne, out on March 25th on Arising Empire. I'll put some links below to the band's Facebook. If there's any pre-orders, I'll stick that in there as well. Let us know what you think. Once you've heard any of the tracks, or once you've heard the EP, happy to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. Thanks for checking out the review, much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.